The structure of our presentation starts with the organizational background and the problem of practice, then moves to the theoretical foundation most relevant to workforce development. These theories, including organizational learning, monadistic theory, and paradox thinking, offer the perspective needed to understand training-related challenges. Companies operate in a high-stakes, innovative-driven environment that demand rapid adaptation, effective collaboration, and consistent performance. In this context, standardized training is crucial to align employees with organizational goals, workflows, and expectations. Without a structured training system, teams face inconsistent performance, decreased efficiency, especially in a setting where precision and timely executions are vital. The main issue is the lack of formal training and onboarding programs. Instead of using standardized material and processes, new employees rely on informal mentoring and self-directed learning. This leads to inconsistent knowledge transfers, slower onboarding, and greater performance variability. These inconsistencies also lead to larger cultural and organizational issues. Employees feel unsupported, trust erodes, and turnover risk rises. Similar trends are seen in healthcare and educational settings where insufficient training increases stress and harms organizational flexibility. Insufficient training often leads to adverse effects on productivity, quality, and retention. Productivity drops because new employees struggle to understand workflows, expectations, and standards without clear guidance. Performance becomes inconsistent across teams where individual mentors or informal learning leads to different interpretations of the best practice. Institutions also lose substantial knowledge when experienced employees leave, especially when little is documented or standardized. Research shows that these gaps increase turnover, harm quality, and weaken the organizational stability. Over time, these insufficiencies build up, harming long-term performance and employee morale. Organizational theories help identify why training problems have widespread effects. Modernist theory focuses on structure, efficiency, and transparent processes, elements closely tied to effective training systems. Organic system theory emphasizes on flexibility, but warns that flexibility without consistency can lead to confusion and inefficiency. The paradox theory emphasizes the tension between immediate operational needs and long-term growth. Organizations must manage both aspects rather than choose one over the other, making training a vital tool for performance. Without strategic training, these paradoxes become more challenging to handle, weakening the organizational coherency. Organizational learning theory indicates that training is crucial for developing reflective, adaptable teams capable of tackling complex problems. Double-loop learning highlights the importance of questioning assumptions and refining core mental models, skills that training directly enhance. When employees do not receive structured training, they are more prone to repeat mistakes and avoid necessary reflection. Research shows that competency and relational trust both develop through consistent growth, meaningful support, and opportunities to build skills. Without structured training, motivation diminishes and employees become disengaged. This jeopardizes the organization's ability to innovate and sustain high performance across teams.
The conceptual framework illustrates how training promotes capability building through engagement, clarity, and confidence. Training strengthens motivation by helping employees feel competent and supported, while clearly aligned training pathways improve performance outcomes, as pointed out by Grant. As organizations reinforce training through continuous learning loops, performance becomes more consistent and innovation increases. This structure emphasizes that training is not just a first day task, but an ongoing system that influences organizational culture, knowledge continuity, and long term strategic success, as pointed out by Edmondson. The organization needs to balance the demand for agility with the need for consistency. Paradox theory holds that these tensions are not problems to be fixed, they must be managed simultaneously, according to Smith and Lewis. Training is the tool that enables this balance by creating a shared foundation that helps employees innovate without losing alignment. Without formal training, agility becomes disorder rather than adaptability. Organizations lose the ability to scale performance, respond efficiently to new challenges, or maintain coherence across teams, per Hatch and Cunliffe. Analysis illustrates that informal mentoring yields inconsistent results because each employee receives different information at varying depths and through various teaching styles. These inconsistencies mirror patterns seen in healthcare and education, where unstructured training lowers quality, raises risk, and diminishes psychological safety, per Edmondson and Shen et al. Employees report feeling uncertain, unsupported, or unclear about expectations, conditions known to lower trust and increase turnover. Without a formal training system, the organization depends too much on individual memory and personal initiative rather than on consistent processes. Based on theory and evidence, we suggest that a modular, strategically aligned training system will enhance engagement, retention, and performance. Training systems establish shared mental models, ensuring that employees understand expectations, workflows, and organizational priorities. With adequate training, employees build greater trust, feel more confident, and perform more consistently. This aligns with research showing that organizations with structured development programs strengthen culture, adaptability, and long-term outcomes, according to Costa et al. And Grant. Research shows that structured training lowers turnover, speeds up onboarding, and improves quality across industries. In organizations with high stakes or high complexity, training is especially crucial because informal systems cannot reliably scale. Additionally, studies demonstrate that a lack of training skews behavior. Employees tend to focus on compliance over meaningful performance when training or evaluation systems are poorly designed. Therefore, training must be strategically aligned to promote learning rather than foster fear-based compliance. We recommend implementing modular onboarding tailored to role-specific needs. This approach helps new employees gain clarity and confidence early on, fostering competence and trust. Combining this with peer-led micro-training offers small, manageable learning opportunities that are proven effective in complex environments, per Edmondson. These strategies ease the load on informal mentoring, they enhance consistency across teams, and they support both individual and organizational flexibility, as Smith and Lewis indicate. I'll now hand it over to Henry.
Documentation protocols should be established to capture institutional knowledge and decrease dependence on individual memory, an approach aligned with modern theory's focus on structure and consistency. Training should also be integrated into performance metrics so that development becomes a cultural norm rather than an optional activity. Leadership must actively champion development and take a visible role. Research indicates that psychological safety and trust increase when leaders demonstrate learning, reflection, and vulnerability. This model demonstrates how training affects motivation, capability, and performance through ongoing feedback loops. Training improves competence and clarity, which boosts trust and engagement, key factors for effective performance. When employees feel supported and confident, they collaborate more effectively, innovate more freely, and perform more consistently. This creates a reinforcing cycle where training enhances performance, and firm performance encourages further learning. A successful training initiative requires careful attention to practical implementation challenges. One of the most important considerations is the organization's time and security constraints. In high-stakes or classified environments, Employees often struggle to find dedicated time for structured learning, and access to sensitive information must be tightly controlled. This means training must be modular, efficient, and designed to work within existing operational limits. By keeping training lightweight and security compliant, organizations ensure that learning enhances rather than disrupt workflow. Another key factor is securing strong leadership support. Research indicates that trust, engagement, and psychological safety increase when leaders model learning behaviors and visibly commit to development efforts. Leadership involvement helps communicate to employees that training is not optional or secondary, but rather a shared organizational priority that fosters long-term capability building and cultural alignment. Finally, launching a pilot program with a built-in feedback loop enables the organization to test training modules before expanding them. Feedback loops embody principles of organizational learning, and double-loop reflection ensuring that both content and delivery adapt based on real employee experiences. A pilot also helps identify obstacles early, increases buy-in, and fosters continuous improvement throughout the training progress. Establishing iterative feedback enhances program effectiveness and supports sustainable long-term performance. By following these recommendations, the organization can expect faster onboarding, better task quality, and more consistent performance across teams. Retention should also improve as employees who feel confident and supported are much more likely to stay in their roles. Strengthening knowledge continuity ensures the organization retains critical expertise even during staff transitions. These benefits ultimately improve organizational resilience, adaptability, and long-term strategic capability. The evidence shows clearly that training is not optional. It is foundational to organizational success, operational consistency, and long-term capability. A structured and adaptive training system strengthens performance, supports employees, and builds a resilient organizational culture. Thank you for engaging in this discussion and your time today. Please refer to the complete reference list provided at the end of this presentation for all sources used in today's discussion.